Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back, and it is time for another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 Pro Bot cast. We are going to be having ourselves a couple of bots that I don't believe I think I've cast before. Maybe I've cast this guy before. It's hard to remember, to be honest. I've cast a lot of Starcraft at this point. So, you know. Anyway, in the top right-hand side of the map, we have got sharking around sharkbot. That I feel like I've ran into this situation before. So yeah, sharkbot. Gonna be hard to cast. But yeah, anyway, in the bottom left, a bot that I haven't seen before, but I think is apparently an older one. It's VeTerran or VeTerran. I'm not exactly sure what that stands for. But if we do take a look, we have got ourselves some dirty builds already happening between these two bots. Sharkbot sent out 2 probes right across the map right away, which is definitely unusual, and actually had a plan in mind, or a plan programmed, as Sharkbot attempted to steal both gases of VeTerran. That was not actually successful though, as VeTerran was able to get one up. But then Sharkbot is just going ham over here with triple gateway production. Just gonna be zealot rushing the heck out of VeTerran. VeTerran is scouting. Of course, it all depends how programmed the bots are to respond to something like this. We shall see. A Marine is on the way for VeTerran, but soon it's gonna be 3 zealots on the way for Sharkbot. So that Marine is gonna be over his head. Reaper is on the way, which is gonna be interesting. Marine trying to keep that probe away. It's all going to depend on whether these zealots get in or not, really. The probe's trying to run, does get killed off. Reaper's on the way for VeTerran, working away on that refinery. And yeah, let's see how this is going to work out, because VeTerran did send an SCV scout, but just because something looks obvious when it comes to these bots doesn't mean that it is, because for all we know, there's absolutely no behavior programmed for VeTerran to respond with a scout like this, but it does raise the depot, so there's important behavior there. Sharkbot saying, your destruction is the will of the gods, suddenly being not as friendly as it was at the start of the game, and said much love, opponent. Your destruction is the will of their gods, and I am their instrument. I feel like that's from something. But for now, we take a look. Those Marines trying to get away, but this is where the concern is. The human player probably would not have made that mistake, as zealots get into the main base, and now we're seeing SCVs engaging them. Injured SCVs not really being microed away. VeTerran grenades its own SCVs. Yeah, this is looking kind of problematic for VeTerran. It does raise the wall on the rest of the zealots, but at the same time, the command center at the Natural is going to be delayed. SCVs have already died. At the same time, though, I mean, it is that snowball thing. If the Terran builds up enough units, the Zealots will eventually just be fed into the meat grinder. The Reapers are being microed well. SCVs being pulled to the front, trying to resume building of that command center. One Zealot makes it into the main base, then ceases to exist. As this game is already off to a very hectic start. Looks like the wall will hold as long as VeTerran does not lower it and accidentally loses units. But so far, it's looking pretty darn good for the Terran bot. Yeah. This game did start off pretty hectic, ladies and gentlemen, though, so make sure to hit that like button, as I didn't have time to do the usual spiel. Hit that like button. Let's aim for, oh, I don't know, there's already been, okay, there are 2 supplies combined, is 55. Let's go for 55 likes. I was taking note, though, of that Stalker that is now out for Sharkbot. A Stalker completely changes things up as it outranges and out-tanks most Terran units, so Reapers don't really deal with it, but apparently Widow Mines do, as that's kind of obvious. 1 Stalker versus 1 mine. You know who wins that fight, so all of a sudden things are looking mighty bad for Sharkbot. Just bleeding off copious amounts of Zealots here, and it's not going to get any better as Zealots just get kited indefinitely. The Stalkers were the big hope, but then of course the Widow Mine dashed that hope, and the mine's now going to reposition. So yeah, this ain't looking too hot here for Sharkbot. The Widow Mine will go off on a Zealot, so the Stalkers will be safe after this. So that's actually pretty significant. But then again, a bunker's already on the way for VeTerran. If that completes, I really don't know how this is going to work for Sharkbot, or if there's any contingency or anything. So far, it looks not really like that's the case. Okay, let's take a look here. We see these two bots constantly engaging and skirmishing each other. We see the mass clicks of their high APM. VeTerran's APM not quite as high as sharkbot, who's cruising at a casual 10,000 plus. We are starting to see a transition now from sharkbot, a robo on the way, a sentry on the way as well. So changing it up does seem to have some sort of contingency, which is a good sign. It's not great when a bot basically just has one plan and then dies. Cloaked Widow Mine now gonna really complicate things. Stalker getting really within the range of that mine as these bots are microing against each other and the Marine taking shots, but then the Stalker trying to avoid the Widow Mine. Zealots are now gonna move forward, but oh, you gotta be careful, Sharkbot. Oh, it's going for it. It's going for it as Zealots eat Widow Mines to the face, and that's really just a solid win for VeTerran, as the mines really can't be killed as long as they stay burrowed now that there's an armory done, which is a cool addition, by the way, by V? I guess we can just call him V. Yeah, because of course Widow Mine's pretty darn good, and this bot actually is making a lot of them. We now see a reactor on the way, a tech lab on the way. I'm wondering if this is just gonna be like a mass drilling claws Widow Mine bot. I honestly love that style, but I am loving V right now. Sharkbot trying to make this play happen, now expanding behind this. We'll see how good the bot's late game is, or how good the mid game is once the cheese kind of fails, how much depth there is to it. Mass clicks behind that Zealot, being followed by the blue arrows, does get picked off. Drilling Claws is on the way for VeTerran, so it looks like a lot more Widow Mines are going to be on the way. And by gosh, I can't even imagine the nightmare of trying to program a bot to deal with the Widow Mines smartly. There's a lot of situations which I see that these programmers have accounted for, and I'm like, yeah, that looks like it would be really hard to do. But we have seen some really smart behavior from these guys. Unfortunately, things are looking pretty bad for Sharkbot here, as the main gateways are now going to be under threat. The Marines, though, are being whittled down by the Stalker. Stalker backed into a corner by that Marine, but now they're trying to avoid the Widow Mines. That one did not successfully avoid the mine as it eats the shot. The Widow Mine's just going to keep re-burrowing and unburrowing like mad. Anything that gets in their range is one shot. Sharkbot's going to need an Immortal. There's a Forge on the way, so cannons are an option to defend the homeland. But, yeah, we definitely need to see an Observer here for Sharkbot, as VeTerran is now pushing across the map. Those gateways were not shut down. Warp Gate is about to finish up, so we'll see some potential warp-ins here. But yeah, I'm kind of concerned now for Sharkbot, as a tank's coming across the map. There's Widow Mines to cover it. This Immortal should do good against the tank. Hallucinated Archons will actually help deal with the Widow Mines if they take the shots. That actually didn't look too bad as both the mines went off, but nothing really died. I'm not sure what actually took the mine shots. The Immortal, I think, took one. But we do see Sharkbot still having to back up these Marines, the Reapers, the mines really just being the main threat still. And we see a third base on the way for VeTerran. +1 attack is on the way too. These bots really pick them in, or really have some interesting compositions. Then double Starport. So +1 melee attack for its slow Marine production, and then double Starports. That's something. Stalker gonna eat a Widow Mine once again. You gotta be careful, Sharkbot. You don't want to do it. That Immortal, good thing he's a tanky boy, because he eats a tank shot and a Widow Mine shot. That Hardened Shield really helps out. We see batteries going up for Sharkbot. No cannons, though, to help deal with these mines, but oh man, I'm getting a little bit worried for Sharkbot. I really have been worried since the start of this game, but at least the game has reached the mid phase. Although VeTerran is backering up pretty solidly behind this, we see Sharkbot just bleeding off more and more units to these Widow Mines. I don't know how many kills the mines have got, but pretty much any time a mine fires, it gets at least one kill. With the rare exception of hitting like an Immortal or something. That Immortal does get finished off by the tank. The mine's starting to juggle forward. Generally, behavior would be to throw up a cannon or two, get an Observer, play defensive against these mines, but of course, unless Sharkbot's been specifically programmed to have that happen, it's not necessarily natural behavior. There still isn't a single Observer, which is a little bit odd. You'd think get some sort of detection would at least trigger when your bot's getting killed by invisible units, but I mean, maybe Widow Mines with an armory were looked over. Like, who knows? Maybe Sharkbot reacts to Cloak Banshees, reacts to DTs or Ghosts, but maybe it doesn't react to Burrowed Widow Mines. But that definitely is something that you might want to work on if you are the dev of Sharkbot, as a lot of units have died, and yeah, that's not looking too good here for Sharkbot. As the tank's gonna roll up, there's now a Raven. The Raven would be helpful for killing any potential observer, not that there is any. And looks like this game could be over, which is a little sad. I like Sharkbot's play. I do respect that the bot did have somewhat of a follow-up, but it just wasn't prepared to deal with this composition, particularly when behind from the opening. And cool behavior on both sides from the bots. I love a bot that uses like a kind of gimmicky strategy like these mass mines are doing, but they're doing pretty darn well for themselves. And it looks like this game is probably going to be coming to an end here soon. I mean, Sharkbot has been staying alive, but now is slowly getting pushed by the tanks, marines, the mines, getting closer and closer. There is now a Robo Bay on the way, but still no detection. Probe's now tanking the mines, but the mines are just cloaked, and there is cool retreat behavior by VeTerran. Yeah. A battle cruiser is now on the way for the Terran bot, but I don't think Sharkbot's gonna live that long. Maybe it won't have GG'd by the time the BC shows up. That can be the main thing we look at. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy these Probot casts, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Apparently my voice is still not 100% recovered, which is a bummer. But then yeah, still getting a little bit better here. But anyway, we do take a look. Sharkbot gonna be going down. Oh, that was a dirty Widow Mine miss. Oh, so dirty. The production for VeTerran's looking pretty good, mainly just limited by the gas intake. I find it interesting how a lot of Terran bots do utilize just like a slow marine trickle, as it really does not resemble human play in any way to basically just trickle out slow marines. It's like, no, if you're gonna make marines, you're gonna get a lot of marines, upgrades, medivacs, that kind of stuff. And I mean, there was upgrades for VeTerran, but there really hasn't been enough marines to justify them, kinda, in a sense, as there's +2 on the way, so this behavior kinda similar to Micro Machine. Yeah, we wait for everything to be cleaned up. Big old daddy battlecruiser did finish up. It looks like there is no GG behavior from Sharkbot. There's one observer, oh my god, finally on the way. What was it that did it to make Sharkbot be like, yeah, you know what? Now's the time to make an observer. First observer of the game. No, it actually made 3, pardon me. Maybe they just died past that point. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning on in. My name is LaughNgamez. Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, leave a gibberish comment. Yeah, I don't know what. You come up with something.